The theory was tested and recorded by the great 9th century Iraqi naturalist Al-Jahiz, who reported that the ostrich happily ate burning pieces of metal, but on devouring a pair of scissors, sliced itself open from the inside. We also believed that ostriches could hatch their eggs merely by glaring at them with great and unswerving intensity. The old errors are fantastical and fantastic, and revealing of human hopes and anxieties, our terrors, our desires for greater digestive health and sexual prowess, our quest for magical solutions to relentlessly human problems. And there is no reason to believe that we haven't got just as much wrong today as we have done in every generation up till now. It would be worth our holding that knowledge tight and urgent as we go. Our learning, though vast, is an infinitesimally small fraction of what exists. There is still so much to discover about the dirt on which we stand and that which rises from it, and our desire to get close to the world's wild creatures has often done them very little good. Every species in this book is endangered, or contains a subspecies that is endangered, because there is almost no creature in the world now for which that is not the case. It is the global West that has contributed most to the destruction of the world's ecosystems, but the impact will be felt by everything on Earth. Time is running short. This book is offered to you in the guise of a circus ringmaster, with top hat and whip and painted-on moustache. He is not himself very remarkable, but his job is to point out that which is, and his job is to say, "Dear friends, would you look, only look, at what is here, and would you agree to astonishment and to love? For love, allied to attention, will be urgently needed in the years to come." The Wombat. The Wombat, Dante Gabriel Rossetti wrote in 1869, is a joy, a triumph, a delight, a madness. The painter's house at 16 Cheyne Walk in Chelsea had a large garden, which, shortly after he was widowed, he began to stock with wild animals. He acquired, among other beasts, wallabies, kangaroos, a raccoon, and a zebu. He looked into the possibility of keeping an African elephant, but concluded that at £400 it was unreasonably priced. He bought a toucan, which it was rumoured he trained to ride a llama, but above all, he loved wombats. He had two, one named Top, after William Morris, whose nickname Topsy came from his head of tight curls. In September 1869, Rossetti wrote in a letter that the wombat had successfully interrupted a seemingly uninterruptible monologue by John Ruskin by burrowing its nose between the critic's waistcoat and jacket. Rossetti drew the wombats repeatedly. He sketched his mistress, William Morris's wife, Jane, walking one on a leash. In the image, both Jane and the wombat look irate. Both wear halos. It isn't difficult to understand Rossetti's devotion. Wombats are deceptive. They are swifter than they look, braver than they look, tougher than they look. Outwardly, they are sweet-faced and rotund. The earliest recorded description of the wombat came from a settler, John Price, in 1798, on a visit to New South Wales. Price wrote that it was an animal about 20 inches high, with short legs and a thick body with a large head, round ears, and very small eyes, is very fat, and has much the appearance of a badger. The description implies only limited familiarity with badgers. In fact, a wombat looks somewhere between a capybara, a koala, and a bear cub. And though most are a serviceable brown, a small number of southern hairy-nosed wombats are born with a rare genetic mutation which makes their fur gold, the rich blonde of Marilyn Monroe. Despite the fact that they do not look streamlined, a wombat can run at up to 40 kilometers an hour and maintain that speed for 90 seconds. The fastest recorded human foot speed was Usain Bolt's 100-meter sprint in 2009, in which he hit a speed of 44.7 kilometers per hour but maintained it for just 1.61 seconds, suggesting that a wombat could readily outrun him. They can also fell a grown man and have the capacity to attack backwards, crushing predators against the walls of their dens with the bone-hard cartilage of their rumps. The shattered skulls of foxes have been found in wombat burrows. Wombats are careful and protective mothers, giving birth once a year in the spring. Like all marsupials, they produce tiny embryonic young born after only 30 days in utero, which then take refuge in the mother's pouch for 8 months and develop further. The wombat's pouch is positioned upside down, so the joey's head looks out between the mother's hind legs in order to allow her to dig without filling the pouch with mud.